Please be seated. So I got myself into a jam. Years ago, I was serving a little parish in northern Vermont, and there was a small conservative evangelical congregation without a home, and they approached me in our little parish to say, when you're not using, your space on a Sunday, before or after your services, could we use your space? And I immediately said, absolutely. It's wonderful that you should ask, and come on in here and we'll make that all happen. And then there was a moment of pause, and I heard from our, fellow parishioners who had heard about this, and they said, wait a minute. Why would we welcome a group of even fellow Christians who we know to be exclusive of certain categories of people, and who even consider or not see the value of anyone of any other faith, whether they be Jewish or Muslim or Buddhist? And so why would we invite those people into our parish who in turn would exclude people in our parish from coming to our parish? You following me? And I said, well, yeah, you're right. Should we condone that kind of judgment and exclusion to other people? But wait a minute. Wouldn't we be doing that, right? If we said, no, you can't use our place because you're those kind of people. So I was in this jam. It makes me think of the phrase, which thankfully is becoming hard to, or rare to hear these days, you people. You people. And I hear that as a description from a member of a particular group of people who are looking at another group of people and not seeing them quite as worthy as we, and is making an effort in that moment to say, you people should really do things a little more like we do, because we do it better than you do. That approach to life, that you people approach, does cause some blindness, right? Because if you are, this is sort of sociology 101, and please bear with me but if you categorize anybody, are you really seeing who they are? You're not, right? You not only are becoming blind to who they are. I mean, you see them for who you want to see them, but you really don't see them, right? You don't see them. So you've every time it's a you people description, you've gone a little more blind to the world around you, and there's built into that a disconnect. I don't know these people other than just they're a category of people. I have really nothing to do with them. They're none of my friends. And so it's not only am I blind to those people, I'm disconnected from those people. There are those who, I love the story of blind Bartimaeus. It's so simple and straightforward, and I've enjoyed coming back to it again and again. And this time around, I was listening to or reading other interpretations of the story, and I like this. I like the thought, and Scripture is there for us to have conversations with. There's no right way, I dare say, to understand and interpret Scripture, but here I'm moving in the direction today of regarding Bartimaeus, son of Timaeus. So there are those who believe Timaeus, the reference to Timaeus, was a philosopher. So let's go with this, that the son of Timaeus grew up. There was a time when he, saw the world around him and saw everyone for who they were, but maybe dad taught him, and that's how we learn these things, right? Maybe dad taught him to see the world in a certain way. Those who have philosophies and ideologies and opinions and beliefs have a way of sort of sharing those with their kids and saying, so son, Bartimaeus, this is how you should see the world. And so there was a time, remember as the story unfolds, that he's saying to Jesus, I want my sight back again. So there was a time, he wasn't born blind, but there was a moment in time where he had learned so much about how to categorize the world around him and the people around him that slowly but surely he went blind. And slowly but surely he got so disconnected that he's now living in this little dark world all by himself. And the great irony, really the real irony, is everyone else is beginning to judge him in that way. Oh yeah, he's just a beggar. He's just a blind beggar, except Jesus. So he hears that this commotion, at least he's got his hearing still, and he's like, what's going on there? And he's on the side of the way, there's this street that he's sort of hanging out on to, hold out his hand as a beggar, but he's hearing this commotion, and Jesus is coming, and he hears, oh, it's Son of David. And so he yells out, right? And the people around him, you people, you guys shut up. You little beggars, just sit. And he yells all the more, hey, and he gets Jesus' attention. And the whole procession stops. He says, call that guy over here. And now they've sort of changed the tune, like, oh, okay, all right, he wants to see you. We're going to get over there. And so I love the image. He throws off his cloak. Why would he do that? He could just get up and walk. But he throws off all of that philosophy and belief and doctrine and all the stuff that he's been dressing himself up, causing him to be blind and disconnected. He throws that off and he comes to Jesus. And now, do you notice, he didn't say, hey, Son of David again. It's now my teacher. He's gotten off the sidelines, he's gotten on the path, and he's moved closer to someone he now sees as his teacher, and says, and I love this, Jesus in response doesn't say, oh, well, I know what you're all about. I know you people are blind and you're begging, and so you probably want food from me, right? Or you probably want your sight back, of course. But he doesn't do that. He says, what do you want? He just goes right to the humanity of the man and not presume a thing, and says, and sees him. And Bartimaeus is seen. He's like, I would like my sight back. And before Jesus can, as we think, oh, it's a miracle, he must have to, and there are the occasions where he gets mud and spit and he kind of rubs the eyes of someone blind, but no, he doesn't do anything except your faith has already made you whole, has cured you, has healed you. And so I'm saying that whole movement of him throwing off all that biased and chauvinism and all the other isms, throwing all that off, stepping forward, moving closer to this person. So now I don't see him just as Son of David, I see him as my teacher. I have this connection to him. And he sees again. Your faith, that movement, that's what faith is, that movement of moving closer to your fellow human being, to moving closer to God, is what faith is. It's not a belief. So then it says, you are free and go on your way, and Bartimaeus goes on the way. It's very subtle there, but he's gotten off the sidelines, he's stepped on the road, and now he is a follower of the way. And what is the way? I mean, it's so kind of, why don't we think more about, the way is a way of going. It's not sitting on the sidelines, it's movement, it's going. And where are we going when you're a person of faith? On the way. You're throwing off all of that stuff that leaves you blind and disconnected, and you are moving closer and closer and seeking more and more a deeper relationship with the people around you and with God. So it's no longer you people, it's we the people. You and me, I see you, not as a category. And I'm still going to, there won't be a day that goes by in my life where I'm not, if I move closer to you, that I'm not going to learn something more about you, that I'm not going to get in a slightly more trusting, compatible relation. There's no end to how close you can be with people. And there is no end to the same with God. And so not only is it no longer you people, but we the people, and it's no longer, do you believe in God? What a stupid question. Do you believe in God? Throw that off. I believe, I don't believe, it doesn't matter. Throw it off and take a step closer on the way. And it'll be risky, and it requires trust to let that stuff go. But it'll make you whole.